Dyatlov Pass incident, unraveling the unknown. Overview of the incident. On February 2nd, 1959, an inexplicable tragedy unfolded at Dyatlov Pass, located to the east of the Holat-Sial mountain. This remote pass was later named after the group's leader, Igor Alexeyevich Dyatlov. In the dead of winter, amidst temperatures plunging to minus 30 degrees Celsius and amid heavy snowfall, a group of experienced skiers inexplicably abandoned their tent. Evidence suggests that for reasons still shrouded in mystery, they tore open the tent from the inside and fled into the harsh conditions completely barefoot. This desperate exit is one of the many aspects that has fueled decades of speculation and investigation. The journey and camp setup. The group, comprising 10 individuals, 8 men and 2 women, arrived in Ivdel by train on January 25, 1959. From Ivdel, they boarded a bus bound for Vijay, where they intended to continue their expedition. Notably, the 10th member, Yuri Yudin, was forced to turn back in Vijay after sustaining a foot injury and falling ill. It is believed that due to a fear of losing the summit, possibly exacerbated by the looming threat of the forest, the remaining members chose to set up camp in a relatively exposed area rather than a more secure forested location, which might have offered better protection against an impending snowstorm. According to their planned itinerary, the group was scheduled to return to Vijay on February 12th and send a telegram to their sports club. However, after Dyatlov warned Yudin that there might be a delay, the group's absence did not immediately raise alarms. Search and discovery. Days passed without any communication from the group, prompting local volunteers to initiate search efforts. The search soon escalated with the involvement of police and military helicopters. On February 26th, rescue teams discovered the abandoned tent, which had been torn apart and rendered unusable by the elements. Investigators later confirmed that the tent had been ripped open from the inside. Footprints, believed to belong to 9 of the group members, were found leading away from the tent, marked only by traces of socks, occasionally bare footprints, and a solitary shoe. These prints abruptly disappeared after approximately 500 meters, swallowed by the heavy snowfall. Near the entrance of the forest, under a cedar tree, investigators discovered charred remains of wood along with the bodies of Yuri Krivonyshenko and Yuri Doroshenko. Both had been found wearing nothing more than their underwear and socks, a baffling detail given the extreme cold. The remains of the firewood, which appeared to have been broken off 5 meters above the ground in the cedar tree, suggest that the two may have climbed the tree in a desperate attempt to survey their surroundings, perhaps to locate their camp or search for missing members. Additional bodies were discovered between the cedar tree and the camp. These included those of Igor Dyatlov, Zina Kolmogorova, and Rustem Slobodin. The bodies of these individuals were found at intervals of approximately 150 meters apart, with their final resting places recorded at distances of 300, 480, and 630 meters from the cedar tree, respectively. The remaining 4 members of the group were not located until over 2 months later. When the snow finally receded, the bodies of these 4 were found in a riverbed 75 meters away. In a poignant detail, the bodies of Zolotaryov and Krivonyshenko were discovered lying on their backs, embracing each other, while Dubinina's body was found pressed against a rock. Notably, these individuals were better dressed than those found in the initial discovery, as Zolotaryov had donned Dubinina's fur coat and hat, and Dubinina was wearing Krivonyshenko's woolen pants. Detailed reports and forensic findings. Initial reports indicated that the first 5 bodies, Yuri Krivonyshenko, Yuri Doroshenko, Igor Dyatlov, Zina Kolmogorova, and Rustem Slobodin, died as a result of hypothermia. In Slobodin's case, forensic evidence revealed a skull fracture that skakor degin lying dros in church ri churches might have been severe enough to render him unconscious without immediately causing death. It is postulated that after receiving an unexplained blow, Slobodin lost consciousness and eventually succumbed to the brutal cold. The subsequent 4 bodies displayed signs of traumatic injuries. One victim, Thibaut Brignol, exhibited a fractured skull. Dubinina and Zolotarev had multiple broken ribs, and, in the case of Dubinina, her tongue, eyes, and lips were missing. An unusual finding in these 4 victims was the detection of abnormally high levels of radiation on certain pieces of clothing, specifically on 2 pairs of pants and 1 sweater, which has fueled theories regarding the presence of a radiation source or an unidentified technology at the scene. Additional findings and anomalies. Further peculiar details have emerged from the investigation. A 12-year-old local, Yuri Kuntsevich, reported noticing brown, bronze stains on the bodies. Other skiers, located approximately 50 kilometers from the main group, reported sightings of strange orange spheres in the northern skies on the night of the incident. Although these reports were initially recorded between January and March 1959, they were later attributed to the R-7 Semyorka rocket tests conducted by the Soviet Union. The last photograph taken by the group purportedly shows these strange orange spheres, further adding to the mystique. At the scene, a bizarre metal fragment was found and photographed by the search teams, though its origin and significance remain unclear. Investigators also discovered that instead of using dry wood, Yuri Krivonishenko and Yuri Doroshenko had used broken branches from a cedar tree to fuel the campfire. This detail has led some researchers to speculate that the young men may have temporarily lost their vision or been otherwise impaired during the chaos of that fateful night. The location of the final camp is particularly intriguing as it was set between the Baikonur Cosmodrome, an area known for R-7 rocket tests, and Novaya Zemlya, a region notorious for Soviet nuclear research. Notably, aside from the footprints belonging to the group, no signs of any other individuals were found at the scene. This absence of foreign tracks has been used to counter theories suggesting that the indigenous Mansi people, or outsiders, might have been responsible for the tragedy. The victims sustained multiple blunt force traumas and fractures, with Slobodin showing significant bruising and swelling on the left side of his face and body. These physical injuries suggest that he may have engaged in a struggle before his death, although the lack of external footprints raises further questions about the nature of the encounter. In the riverbed, the clothing of 4 victims displayed purple stains, which researchers believe could be attributed to naturally occurring minerals. It is believed that 4 cameras were in the possession of the group, owned by Igor Dyatlov, Yuri Krivonishenko, Rustem Slobodin, and Semyon Zolotarev. However, aside from Dyatlov's camera, the contents of the others remain unexplained. Notably, Semyon Zolotarev was the only individual to take his camera with him when he fled the tent on that fateful night. Forensic analysis noted that a portion of Yuri Krivonishenko's nose was missing, further complicating the forensic profile of the victims. There are also claims that Yuri Doroshenko maintained a personal journal separate from the group's collective log, which was later found in the tent. This journal is rumored to contain details that might elucidate the true cause of the tragedy. Semyon Alexandrovich Zolotarev, the eldest member of the group, had a distinguished past as a former soldier in the Red Army during World War II. His experiences under extreme conditions might have influenced his actions during the expedition. Mysterious elements that defy explanation. The inverted tent. One of the earliest and most baffling clues was the manner in which the tent was torn open, from the inside out. This suggests that the group abandoned their shelter in a state of utter panic, hinting at the presence of an immediate, inexplicable threat. Injured and bare bodies. While frostbite was evident on many of the bodies, some exhibited anomalous wounds and internal lacerations. The fact that certain victims were found stripped down, having abandoned critical clothing and equipment in haste, raises questions about the nature of the emergency that compelled such a drastic reaction. missing eyes, teeth, and the preserved corpses. There are reports of some bodies missing eyes and teeth, while remarkably well preserved in other respects. In addition, severe injuries to the skull and rib cage were noted without corresponding external wounds. These contradictory findings have led some to speculate about the possibility of an unknown force or technology influencing the events. Abnormally high radiation, the detection of unusually high radiation levels on some of the victims' clothing, is perhaps one of the most perplexing aspects of the case. This discovery has spawned theories that a radiation source, or an as yet unidentified technological phenomenon, might have played a role in the incident. Theories and speculations. Over the decades, several hypotheses have been proposed to explain the Dyatlov Pass incident. Avalanche theory. Some researchers believe that the group was caught in the path of an avalanche, forcing them to flee the tent in a desperate bid to escape. In their panic, they abandoned their shelter, only to succumb to hypothermia shortly thereafter. Native Mansi theory. Another hypothesis posits that the indigenous Mansi people might have attacked the group. However, this theory lacks substantial evidence, particularly given the absence of any foreign footprints at the scene. Military tests. There is also speculation that secret military tests, possibly involving nuclear detonations, by the Soviet government may have triggered the incident. This theory is supported by the fact that the final camp was located between the Baikonur Cosmodrome and Novaya Zemlya, regions associated with advanced military and nuclear activities. Unknown forces. Perhaps the most fantastical of all theories is that an unidentified supernatural or extraterrestrial force affected the group. Proponents of this view suggest that the bizarre injuries, the unusual radiation levels, and the erratic behavior of the group could be attributed to an otherworldly influence beyond current human understanding. Cultural impact and adaptations. The enduring mystery of the Dyatlov Pass incident has not only fueled numerous scientific inquiries, but has also left an indelible mark on popular culture. In 2013, the incident was adapted into the film Devil's Pass, which dramatized the eerie circumstances surrounding the tragedy. Following that, in 2015, a video game titled Coldest was developed by the IMGN.Pro team, and in 2020, a television series named Perplexing Dyatlova was released, drawing further attention to this unsolved mystery. Conclusion. The Dyatlov Pass incident remains one of the most confounding and haunting mysteries of the 20th century. Despite extensive investigations and numerous theories, the true events of that frigid February night continue to elude definitive explanation. The blend of harsh environmental conditions, unexplained injuries, and the presence of anomalous elements such as elevated radiation levels has ensured that this tragedy will continue to captivate and perplex researchers and enthusiasts alike. Thank you for watching the video carefully. Don't forget to share your thoughts on the topic with us. You can also share your own theories in